Aloha to all of our listeners. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to join us today to learn about Ola Loa and the healing power of methylation, which is truly a breakthrough in understanding how to achieve optimum health. We consider methylation to be the cardinal adaptive system of the body, a major and fundamental determinant of health and sickness, life and death. For improper methylation leads to most, if not all, disease states, including heart disease and cancer, mood disorders, and inflammatory diseases. So important is this pathway that Mother Nature, in all of her wisdom, has designed primary and secondary roads through this cycle to assure survival. Methylation refers to a family of biochemical reactions that involve the controlled transfer of a methyl group made up of a carbon atom and 3 hydrogen atoms, abbreviated CH3. Such movement of carbon atoms goes on in every cell and tissue of the body, for methylation is involved in hundreds of chemical reactions that regulate cell energy, healing, immunity, and genetic expression of DNA and RNA. All these reactions are responsive to environmental conditions. Thus, methylation is a central feature of adaptation to the ever-changing physical and chemical conditions of life. As a result of methylation, hundreds of molecular products change physically and functionally in the microscopic world of cellular biochemistry. Methionine is an essential amino acid found mostly in animal protein. The human body cannot make it. Therefore, it must be acquired by eating. However, methionine is scarce in vegetables, so it's advantageous to feed on foods from animals, meat, organs, eggs, or milk products. Methionine is crucial to methylation because it carries an available but inactive methyl group on its sulfur atom. However, within the confines of the cell, methionine encounters adenosine as ATP and magnesium, which are energized by a transferase enzyme, thus forming adenosyl methionine, or SAMe. This natural alchemy energizes the methionine so as to release its methyl group into the orbit of cellular enzymes, appropriately called methyltransferases. There are about 400 known methyltransferase reactions that produce vital products that affect our health, quality of life, and survival. The best-known methylation products are creatine, carnitine, coenzyme Q, and calmodulin, all required to regulate energy and activity in every cell of the human body. Methylation also serves the synthesis of phospholipids from ethanolamine to choline, which is trimethylethanolamine, essential for cell membrane structure and repair, including myelin, the substance that insulates nerve fibers. Choline is also essential for the production of brain-regulating neurotransmitters, acetylcholine, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, and melatonin, the neurotransmitter that initiates sleep and regulates the circadian sleep-waking rhythms. Melatonin is a product of methylation, specifically of the neurotransmitter serotonin via acetylserotonin. Sarcosine, which is formed by the methylation of the amino acid glycine, has recently attracted research attention as a treatment for schizophrenia. And there's more. For the transfer of a methyl group from folic acid to cobalamin, vitamin B12, and thence homocysteine is required in order to regenerate methionine and tetrahydrofolate, THF, which is required for methylation of the nucleic acid uridine, which thus becomes thymidine, the specific nucleoside required for the production of lymphocytes active against viruses, cancer, and microbial enemies. Failure to produce adequate thymidine hampers methylation of DNA and RNA, useful in synthesis and repair of these genetic materials. Without this mechanism, genetic error and damage would occur earlier and more often. In short, methylation is an absolute requirement for immunity, fertility, and protection against birth defects, accelerated aging, and susceptibility to cancer. Methylation is also essential for the production of polyamines, regulators of cell growth, mitosis, and healing. Decarboxylated SAM is the substrate, and it also regulates the enzyme so as to control cell division. Thus, the methylation pathway produces a family of products that regulate fertility, growth, and healing. Homocysteine is a potentially toxic intermediate in the methylation process. Elevated total homocysteine concentrations and low SAM concentrations have been associated with chronic disease. When S-adenosylmethionine, SAM, donates its methyl group, it becomes S-adenosylhomocysteine, or SA, a free radical able to combine with other reactive molecules within the cell or in the bloodstream. Inside the cell, homocysteine is likely to react with copper, for their mutual attraction is strong enough to pull copper out of its binding sites in enzymes, including tyrosinase and possibly even the cytochrome enzymes of the mitochondria. If so, this would hamper electron flow and lower cell energy, and thus explain the fact that patients with chronic fatigue states tend to have high homocysteine levels. Of course, it's well known that homocysteine also causes vasospasm, evidently by direct attack on the vascular endothelium, sufficient to even activate the endothelium cell's blood coagulation mechanisms. Homocysteine can safely react with albumin and other proteins in the bloodstream and the blood vessel wall. On the other hand, it can activate blood clotting by reacting with sulfur atoms in plasminogen, fibrinogen, and lipoprotein A, which amplifies coagulation mechanisms and may complicate illness by increasing the tissue-damaging effect of plasminogen to plasmin. When homocysteine binds to the arterial endothelium and platelets, it induces activation of thrombin, which provokes spasm of the muscle layer, thus raising blood pressure and also lowering blood flow in major arteries drastically. Chambers and McGregor reported an average decrease in arterial blood flow of 85% due to elevated homocysteine induced by methionine loading. The vasospasm effect lasts over 4 hours. That's long enough to cause ischemia, apoptosis, programmed cell death, and permanent organ damage, even in healthy young adults. Arterial blood flow after a large methionine load was cut by 2/3 simply by pre-treatment with 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. A 500 milligram dose of vitamin C proved inadequate. Thus, it is likely that vasoconstrictive ischemia is an important mechanism by which homocysteine causes hypertension, atherosclerosis, and arterial aneurysm. It is also likely that homocysteine-induced apoptosis is a major part of the aging process because elevated homocysteine potentiates free radical oxidation and free radical damage. On the other hand, homocysteine is not all bad. In the first place, by accepting a methyl group from the folate cobalamin methylation pathway, homocysteine can be restored to methionine. And by combining with serine, homocysteine can be converted to cystathionine and then to transsulfuration end products of the transmethylation cycles, namely cysteine, glutathione, taurine, and sulfate, all valuable components of antioxidant adaptation and detoxification. Thus, methylation makes possible more essential products and functions than any other biochemical system. Methylation is commonly impaired by pollutants and genetic mutations. Judging by the extremely high rate of mutation of genes affecting methylation observed in our medical practice, I think it's likely that inefficient methylation is an increasing problem in the past century. It's sobering to consider that advanced countries such as Hungary, France, and the United States have much higher rates of MTHFR mutation, about 30%, compared to China, which has only about 10%. We believe it's likely that we are adapting to environmental pollution by means of rapid genetic adaptation at the expense of the unlucky individuals who lack efficient P450 enzymes or adequate glutathione synthesis. We also think that the methylation pathway governed by folic acid and B12 acts as a pro-evolutionary pathway by upregulating mutation in response to environmental stresses such as famine, drought, global warming or cooling, and especially chemical pollution, and heavy metals. It is very likely that accelerated mutation could be the basis for survival of the species, selected from the survivors of the toxic Holocaust. Methylation support is especially important because of mercury pollution of both ocean and freshwater fish and the effects of acid rain, which increase the solubility of mercury and decrease the availability of selenium and other mineral antidotes. And it is also an increasing problem due to the remarkable frequency of mutations that affect enzymes upon which methylation depends. Most patients with chronic illness, especially those that are resistant to treatment, carry mutations that weaken the efficiency of vitamins folic acid and B12. In fact, genetic testing for hundreds of our patients shows over 86% carry mutations of MTHFR for folic acid, and over 76% are mutated for MTRR for vitamin B12. 100% of these patients carry at least one mutation out of 4 methylation genes tested. These results are so extreme as to provoke extreme skepticism and concern that we are already caught up in an unrecognized epidemic, one that changes our concept of evolution, human potential, and the nature of health and disease. At the very least, such a genetic epidemic challenges us to revise our understanding of health and disease. In summary, methylation is a diet-dependent process in which carbon atoms from food are transferred to homocysteine, thus regenerating methionine, SAMe, glutathione, and dozens of other substances vital to healthy adaptation. Some disease states that are associated with improper methylation are MS, ALS, depression, schizophrenia, neuropathy, insomnia, gastritis, asthma, dysbiosis, spinal degeneration, wrinkles, aging, acne, obesity, diabetes, inflammation, allergies, autoimmune diseases, all the itis diseases, gallbladder problems, stones, digestion and fat malabsorption, infection, anemia, leukemia, cancer, and mutagenesis. So let's take a look at Ola Loa and methylation. The fact that the mutations of MTHFR and MTRR are common, especially among those with chronic illness, is offset by the fact that many of these people are improved by the use of folic acid and cobalamin and/or their activated forms, folinic acid and methylcobalamin. Doses of 1 to 10 milligrams of each are in use and with often spectacular benefits, particularly in treating nerve-related conditions such as autism, schizophrenia, depression, and neuropathy. Vitamins folic acid and B12 are all the more rational in response to the widespread and increasing pollution of our ecosystem by heavy metals, particularly mercury, lead, arsenic, aluminum, and antimony, which blocks the folic acid B12 and glutathione-dependent methionine synthase complex. Ola Loa provides ample doses of hard-to-get folic acid, B12, and B6, recently recognized as essential in preventing premature aging and atherosclerosis of blood vessels. On the other hand, methyl-accepting molecules such as niacin and niacinamide and amino acid glycine also regulate hypermethylation when overeating of meat, methionine, or sugar, serine, favor overproduction of methylated products. Glycine is a pleasant-tasting amino acid with remarkable health benefits. It supports wound healing, possibly because it's a precursor of collagen protein, but also because it promotes growth hormone, which is essential for healing. Glycine also enhances glucagon, a natural antidote against low blood sugar. This can be a practical advantage when you miss a meal or commit to a weight loss diet. Uric acid excretion is increased by glycine, which is an advantage for those who suffer gouty pain after feasting on meals, alcohol, and coffee. Glycine inactivates chemicals, including salicylates and phenols, associated with food intolerance. In the brain, it has a calming effect, useful as an antidote against anxiety and irritability, including muscle spasm. Put it all together, and glycine is a normalizer, combining muscle energy and endurance with relaxation and calm mood. Supplementation with methylation end products also proves beneficial. That is creatine, carnitine, coenzyme Q10, choline, DMAE, sarcosine, thymidine, and serine. For example, coenzyme Q10 is also an antioxidant, but its greater function is in assuring the orderly passage of electrons that generate the energy of life inside every cell in the body, the life force itself. These electrons come from hydrogen atoms found in food fats and carbohydrates and made available by reactions with vitamins, minerals, and enzymes within our cells. The electrons are contained within the carbon-hydrogen skeletons of fats and carbohydrates until they reach the power plants of the cell, the mitochondria. Here, the negatively charged electrons pass through 4 enzyme complexes within the mitochondria, thereby generating an electronegative current, the life energy. At the same time, the hydrogen residue, having lost a negative charged electron, is now called a proton, signifying its positive charge. Protons exit the mitochondria by leaking into the cytoplasm of the cells, where they serve as antioxidants by actively neutralizing free radicals and preventing damage, aging, to the delicate fats and proteins in the membranes of the mitochondria and organelles. Because the body's ability to make coenzyme Q10 is less than sufficient for optimal health, and because blood levels of coenzyme Q10 decline with age, it makes good sense to find a reliable source for everyday use. Therefore, we have included a significant amount of coenzyme Q10 in Ola Loa so as to support your cell energy and protect you against free radical damage. And we think that regular intake of extra Ola Loa is a sensible strategy against premature aging. As well as looking younger, too, as your body produces more cysteine, essential for keratin for healthy skin, hair, and nails. Other vitamins also support the needs of the methylation system. Riboflavin is required to transfer the formaldehyde intermediates in the folic acid cycle. Larger doses also enhance the MTHFR enzyme, especially important for the 30% of the population with a thermolabile mutation. Vitamin C, ascorbic acid, is transformed by the effervescent interaction between mineral carbonates and citrates in Ola Loa once you add water. The ascorbic acid form of vitamin C becomes non-acidic as it complexes with alkaline minerals of Ola Loa. This assures speedy mineral absorption without mouth or stomach irritation. Vitamin C is soothing as it performs its miracles as an antioxidant, an antiviral agent, an immune booster, a factor in synthesis of hormones, that is estrogen, testosterone, cortisone, and adrenaline, and all the while providing extra protection against blood vessel inflammation and damage. Research studies confirm that a 1,000 milligram dose of vitamin C protects blood flow even after excessive dietary protein and homocysteine, which otherwise cause spasm and reduce blood flow. Blood circulation is a key to well-being and long life, but vitamin C is also the key to the production of collagen, the connective tissue protein that actually heals our wounds, including blood vessels, and stabilizes our tissue structure, keeping our form and visage recognizable for a lifetime. Vitamin C is also required for optimum function of MTHFR, especially important in the face of pollutants such as chloramines, chloride, and fluoride, which are detoxified by vitamin C at megadose levels. Selenium is required by the very same MTHFR enzyme, and megadose selenium can even substitute for the MTHFR enzyme in the absence of the enzyme. Selenium was recently identified as a major preventive factor against certain types of cancer, as well as having anti-inflammatory and antiviral qualities. Clearly, selenium is a real vitamin health insurance. Heavy metal pollution increases the requirement for sulfur-binding vitamins, such as thiamine, biotin, and alpha-lipoic acid, which are inactivated by heavy metal binding. ALA synthase blockade by lead and other heavy metals increases the requirement for zinc and vitamin B6 for synthesis of porphyrin, used for the production of blood and for the heme component of cytochromes and oxidase enzymes, including cystathionine beta synthase. N-acetylcysteine replenishes the most important cellular antioxidant, glutathione, which is protective throughout the various tissues of the body, especially the high-stress areas, such as lung, liver, intestine, and muscles. N-acetylcysteine has proved invaluable in major lung conditions, such as asthma and bronchitis, where it has been a best-kept nutrition secret of hospital medicine for many years. It has also proved to be amazingly protective against liver injury from chemical solvents and excess alcohol. Glutathione is required mostly for protection against the free radical damage of everyday living, the little insults to our cell membranes that gradually add up to the wear and tear that can age us beyond our years. That's why it is important to maintain a regular intake of N-acetylcysteine in order to assure a reliable source of the glutathione that we need every moment of our lives. Trimethylglycine, TMG, also called betaine, is not widely known to the public, but as its name suggests, it's a source of methyl groups. Nature has arranged to recycle homocysteine back into methionine by providing replacement methyl groups, a mechanism that requires two vitamins, vitamin B12 and folic acid. However, these vitamins are often deficient. Luckily, TMG can do the job without requiring any vitamin cofactor. It's just a matter of getting enough TMG. Over 1,000 milligrams, up to 6,000 milligrams in some cases, will lower homocysteine levels even after treatment with folic acid, B6, and B12 are at an impasse. The reason for this is evident in the fact that betaine can donate methyl groups that require only a single enzyme, BHMT, by which to remethylate homocysteine. Folic acid and cobalamin require at least 3 enzymes to do the same thing. TMG is particularly important to protect the liver from large quantities of methionine that arrive after eating high-protein meals, especially meat, fish, fowl, eggs, and cheese. Unlike vitamin B12 and folic acid, which are vulnerable to intestinal malabsorption, TMG is reliably absorbed. Thus, TMG is a strategic nutrient, providing a backup source of methyl groups to assure recycling of methionine into SAM and preventing the pileup of homocysteine, which causes inflammation and damage. Obviously, methylation is continuous, diverse, and incredibly busy. Ola Loa Energy is the single most powerful supplement available today for the control of homocysteine and to support methylation. Ola Loa is truly a breakthrough drink your vitamins product that tastes great. Ola Loa also solves the taste problem of vitamins without resorting to artificial sweeteners. It also helps neutralize excess stomach acid and therefore can be taken any time. Just place a packet of Ola Loa into an empty glass, add a few ounces of water or juice, and watch it stir itself. Ola Loa Energy is the first multivitamin mineral supplement to combine the recent advances in nutrition research into a convenient drink-your-vitamins delivery system, providing the health benefits of TMG, trimethylglycine, acetylcysteine, and coenzyme Q10. No single pill can provide the full benefit of Ola Loa Energy, for each packet provides 1,000 milligrams each of trimethylglycine, glycine, and vitamin C as mineral ascorbates, and Ola Loa also brings you 50 milligrams of acetylcysteine and 25 milligrams of coenzyme Q10. You get 5 valuable advantages in one packet of Ola Loa. No single pill can safely deliver more than about 1,000 milligrams total. It's just no contest. Now, cyanocobalamin has been excluded from Ola Loa as our form of vitamin B12. Patient safety is important, and we've excluded cyanocobalamin because it is a known antivitamin, actually interfering with the methylation pathway it is purported to serve, and it is not only less effective, it is also not as safe. It has been known for 50 years that cyanocobalamin can cause blindness, especially in smokers, African Americans, and people who have relatives with Leber's optic atrophy. We've actually had direct contact with one such patient who was blinded permanently after just 3 injections of cyanocobalamin at a major hospital medical center. And researchers from the Department of Medicine at Queen's University in Ontario, Canada, showed that cyanocobalamin can actually kill cells. It is not by accident that we have chosen hydroxycobalamin as the best choice for everyday use. Patient compliance is important, and Ola Loa has won popular acceptance from coast to coast because it tastes good, is economical, and most people feel better soon after drinking it. We call it the Ola Loa feeling, and it's a composite of all the many methylation reactions that are supported by the Ola Loa formula. This is a case where a sealed nutrient package is more effective, fresher, and more absorbable than table foods. Each packet of Ola Loa replaces over a dozen vitamin pills and delivers abundant nutrients in a strategic methylation antioxidant formula with a naturally pleasing taste and almost instant benefits. This complex natural product achieves palatability with only 1 gram of natural fruit sugar to assist in absorption and no artificial sweeteners. Therefore, our product is completely safe for diabetic patients. Doctor satisfaction is important too. Ola Loa is the most complete effervescent nutrient formula available today. It's considerably cheaper than the formula would be as single vitamin capsules. Furthermore, the sealed packaging protects the ingredients from hygroscopic activation, oxidation, and deterioration. Ola Loa truly stands alone as the best multivitamin product for every medical practice. The sealed packet is portable and maintains full potency despite weather changes. Instant effervescent drink is always fresh. It's a hydrated, colloid solution, provides the best absorption compared to tablets or capsules. It's non-irritating to the digestive tract. It reduces the risk of choking in debilitated or neurologically injured patients. The Ola Loa formulas are medically sound, safe even for children, and you have greater likelihood of success due to patient compliance because it tastes great and only contains 1 gram of fructose, the equivalent to 1 bite of a pear. In summary, methylation is as fundamental as breathing and blood flow. Like breathing and circulation, we take it for granted, though it is not as automatic as these other fundamental life-giving processes. Methylation requires regular intake of foods that contain usable methyl molecules, such as the essential amino acid methionine and the phospholipid choline. Methylation also requires other nutrients such as vitamins B6, B12, folic acid, B2, B3, and the minerals zinc, copper, cobalt, magnesium, and phosphorus. The methyl system works best when the environment is free of common pollutants such as chlorine, fluoride, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, dioxins, PCBs, other chlorinated hydrocarbons, organophosphates, solvents, and phenolic plasticizers. In such a complicated and fragile metabolic situation, it's not surprising that supplementation with methyl groups in the form of TMG is so often experienced as energy-lifting and performance-enhancing. Ola Loa is designed with this in mind, bringing together supportive nutrients in doses sufficient for a meaningful impact on methylation and with supporting nutrients such as B vitamins and antioxidant minerals and acetylcysteine to increase the likelihood of successful results and to optimize the biochemistry of methylation.